Okay, guys, this is the last part of the lecture. Thank you for your patience. I know this is a lot of information, and I wanted to just go over it with you all today. Myself, instead of using other people's video tutorials like I usually do, just so you're not overwhelmed and you only get the basic essential information from me. Okay, let's finish talking about these tools over here. Okay, we did selection tools. We're not going to talk about every single one today. We have your crop tool there. I already showed you that. Um, we're going to just talk about your basic stuff today. The next one we're going to jump down to is this Band-Aid. It's called the Spot Healing Brush Tool. Okay? If you hold it down, you'll see there's a couple of different options here. The Spot Healing Brush Healing Brush Tool, Patch Tool, Content Aware Move Tool, and Red Eye Tool. Okay? We're just going to talk about a few of these right now. The Healing Brush Tool. All right? If you click on that, you'll see your cursor turns into this little circle, okay? And you can adjust the size of that brush here. Okay, now that circle is much bigger. See how big it is on the screen? Okay, we're not going to go that big, all right? So that's a pretty small brush. The other way to adjust the size is with your bracket keys. Left bracket makes it smaller. I'm going to I'm going to click to the right bracket a bunch of times. Oops. Okay. Watch the brackets. What the hell? Oh. Bracket keys. Okay. Bracket keys not working at the moment. There it is. If I hold the right bracket, it gets larger. These are just shortcuts, so you don't have to manually change the size. You can use the brackets. Okay. All right. So yeah, Spot Healing Brush Tool. This tool is good for removing blemishes on your photograph. Okay, if you have some dust on your lens, or say whatever this thing is on the wall right here, if there's something in the image you want to get rid of, okay, just like a little speck, this tool will do that for you. So you want to make it an appropriately sized brush. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so you're not affecting portions of the image that you don't need to. I'm going to isolate this little thing and just boom, gone. Okay, same thing with this thing on the wall right here. I'm going to zoom into the image so you can see it better. If you do Command plus or Command minus on your keyboard, that will zoom in. Sometimes it's better to work zoomed in a little bit. If you're doing a spot check for any sort of, there's a little green spot right here. So I'm going to shrink my brush and boom, gone. There's a little spot on the wall over here. Oops. Boom, gone. Okay, this thing, whatever this is, okay, gone. Don't like that. There's another green thing over here. Shrink it down. Gonna get rid of that. Oops. Okay. I don't know why it's not working on that. You can even use this on people. Not that you should, but you can. Like, say someone's got a pimple on their face. Okay, you can go and spot it out. And I don't know why that's not working. That's infuriating. Okay, it works well for just little specks, but you can also use it to kind of remove other things from your image. Say there's like a telephone line or something in the sky and you want to get rid of that. You can click and drag, okay? And that will just completely erase that line. Okay, it's gone. What it does is it fills in the area that you're selecting with pixels from the surrounding areas. So we could get rid of all these lines if we wanted to. All right, did it again. Cool. See, that is the spot healing brush. You can change the size, hardness of the brush, the roundness, the angle. All these settings are up here. Okay. That is a spot healing brush tool. The healing brush tool is, I think, the same thing. Let's try it real quick. Oh, okay. So the spot healing brush tool, this is kind of confusing, is what we were just using. The healing brush tool, what you need to do first before you use it is click Option. Okay, hold down Option key, and then it will turn into this little target, and you have to select an area. So I'm still holding down Option. I'm going to select this area. Click. Okay. What the hell did that just do? I'm going to select a different area. Okay. Option, select, click. Now that samples this area of pixels right here. I can do it smaller. I can do it larger. It will sample. So Option, click, sample that area. See how the target, the cross appears. Okay, now with my brush, it's sampling from the area where the cross is at. So this would be good for like if there's a patch, a dead dirt, patch of dirt in the grass, and you want to sample the living grass, the Option, click, and then fill in that dead patch of dirt with other pixels. Okay. Let's see if there's another way we can use it. That's probably the best example I can give you off the top of my head, like a dead patch of dirt, or maybe there's some cloud in the sky that you want to, I don't know. But that is that. Okay, let's work on this image for a minute. Command minus sign. Guys, remember this is very helpful because when you go in there and spot, you want to get in close because you can't really see everything from this side. Okay. Red eye tool will help you remove red eye. Content aware move tool. Let's leave that alone today. That's a little bit more complex. Don't exactly remember what this does. We'll skip it. Okay, down here, guys, this is a brush. You can do anything with a brush, really. Brush, pencil, color replacement, mixer brush tool. Let's just check out the brush and pencil, okay? Up here, like the other tool, are your brush settings, okay? Size of brush, hardness of brush. You can go down. There's all kinds of brushes. General brushes, special effect brushes, okay? Here's different types of lines you can make. Let's see what special effect brushes are. Spatter, okay. I don't even know where all this stuff is coming from. Looks like there's patterns and stuff. Cool. Brushes, I don't really mess with them. That's in a realm of graphic design, or I don't really think that's for photography or for photographers. It's just there. Like if I wanted to make a brush, and I'll change the color to orange. Okay, now I have an orange brush selected. Okay, if I wanted to get really creative or weird, it's there. Okay, and then all this over here. This is brush settings. There's so much stuff here, guys. Shape dynamics, scattering, texture, scale, brightness, contrast. Okay, I don't know what any of this stuff is, so I'm just gonna ignore it. It's there for you. if you ever want to check it out. All right. Okay, guys, the next tool that we're going to talk about is the clone stamp, okay? Very easy, very handy. Clone stamp, all right? Clone stamp is similar to the brush we were just using where we had to hold Option and then make the selection with a click. Now we have sampled that area, and I say I want to take this rocky area and make it a little, like, expand it or fill in some of this area that doesn't have so much rocks. Okay, why isn't that working? I think my opacity is down too low. Yeah, there we go. Okay, see how I'm filling it in? Click Option and then click to sample this area, and now with my brush I'm filling it in with rocks. Okay, and it looks pretty natural. Sometimes it doesn't work so well, but you gotta keep clicking and resampling sometimes. Okay, see how this little cross target is moving? Okay, so you gotta check that that's moving in a direction where you want it to be moving. Now I'm filling it in. I'm gonna Option click again. Yeah, there we go. Great. Now this looks pretty good. I'd say that was a successful use of the clone stamp. Looks kind of natural. It's not perfect, but it works. Okay. There's brush settings up here, you guys. Hardness and let's see. Yeah, don't even get into there. Basically, size and hardness are the only two things you need to worry about. Okay, so that's the clone stamp. This is the history brush. This is kind of handy. Say you've been doing a lot of work on a photo and you realize that you want something to go back to the way it was. Don't we all? We can use the history brush, and I'll use the brackets to adjust the size, make it a little larger, and I'm gonna brush away all the adjustments I did over here. That's what the history brush does. But be careful, it goes back all the way. So look how if I drag it over the cement area, it's gonna change the exposure and the saturation too, because remember how we adjusted those things? So the history brush is good. It just, be careful because you're going back all the way to the beginning. I don't know if there's a way to change that, but sometimes that's all right. That's what you want to do. But you don't want to go set the entire image back. You just want to set one area back to the beginning. See how that's all, yeah, going back to the way it was. That's fine. That's the history brush tool, okay? Next thing, guys, we're going to just talk about erasers really quick. They're very handy. Erasers, you can obviously just erase things. Okay, make erasing. If you have like an object that's a layer or its own layer, say for example this photo, you can erase on the background, or you can go to that layer and just erase on that layer. Okay, pretty good for removing unwanted things from images. All right, so that's the eraser, pretty basic. The background eraser is a little bit more tricky to use, and I've used it a few times. It works very well. I'm not sure I have an image here that it's gonna work well on. Background eraser. Yeah, it's a very specific tool. I don't. Um, there we go. There we go. Okay. So where I've used this brush before is like on a photo of a tree. And say you want to like you can see the tree and you can see up through all the branches and the sky behind it. And you want to remove that sky back there, but you don't want to remove the branches. Say you want to change something about the sky and remove the sky and add in like a pattern or a color, something to make it, artistic or whatever. So um this background eraser you can use to remove, it will automatically detect what is behind what, and it's going to remove the background. So I'm going to just drag it through this area here, this like little pool net, and look how it automatically can detect what's the background and what's the foreground. It's removing the water behind this object, not the object itself. So it's pretty intelligent. And now I've removed the, okay, so it's not that smart though. So it removed part of that fence post there, but I can remove everything. There we go, behind this object. It's pretty darn handy, okay? For a lot of different reasons. And it works pretty darn well, okay? I think there's some settings up here on the brush too. Find edges, discontiguous, contiguous. I don't know what the difference is between those, but mess around with that if it's not working the way you want. I think there's a tolerance. Let's see what a tolerance shift does. Okay. Okay. So tolerance will go back down to nothing here. Okay. Tolerance, so when the tolerance is really high, it erased the thing in front, like this wire here. When the tolerance is lower, it has a better sense for what object is what. Okay. Cool. Okay, one more thing with the eraser is the magic eraser. Very handy. Okay, so all you got to do with that is click and erases. It can automatically detect sections of image. It also has a tolerance, so a very low tolerance looks like that. It's kind of spotty. And a very high tolerance. Let's do 80. Ooh. Okay, it makes more of a selection with a higher tolerance. And it works well, like for solid objects. And if you want to change the tolerance to 30, just so you can select a different like smaller objects, it works. Tolerance is something to pay attention to. If it's just selecting too much or too little, it's time to change the tolerance. Like, I think it needs to be higher for some of these things. Yeah. Okay. This will select large areas or solid objects to be erased. Okay. That is the magic eraser. All right. We got a paint bucket tool there. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the blur. I think one of the last things we'll talk about real quick is the dodge and burn tool. Okay. Dodging and burning. It's an old darkroom reference. Okay. If you hold, you'll see dodge and burn. Let's start with burn. Burn basically is a brush that will darken a selective area. Okay, this is for if you want to change the exposure too dark or too light, okay, of just a single area of the image, okay? So here's the exposure slider right here. You can go down You can just increase the exposure a little bit, 1%, or you can burn the exposure in 100%. Oh, we're in the wrong layer here. Switch back to background. Okay, look at that pillow, the edge of the pillow there, and his face. All right. Let's look at the clothing up here. Okay, watch how that will darken. See it darken the area. That's burning. So you're burning in the darker exposure. Okay, and I think it looks better now. Okay, let's do some burning down here. This is good. This is looking better. All right. So that's what burning does. Okay, you can change the range. This is burning in the midtones. I want to burn in the shadows or the highlights. Let's look at how it attacks that highlight, like that white area. Okay, so I've just selected the highlights to burn. It's a little too dark. Let's select the shadows. Let's see, the shadows are up here, guys. I'm just selecting. Okay, so the burning just makes things darker, right? Dodging does the exact same opposite. So if there's an area, say on the photograph, like it's too dark under the eyes or something, part of your subject is in the shadows and you want to just lift it up a little bit, you can dodge. Okay, and dodging will make things brighter or less dark. See the pillow? Dodging the pillow makes it a little bit brighter, increases the exposure a little bit. Okay, that's it. Simple. Okay. Okay, we're gonna take one more quick break, and then I will do an example. I'll give you an assignment, and I'll give you guys about a week and a half to start playing around with Photoshop and get your assignments in. Okay, so that's all for now. We'll take one more break, and then we'll get going.